The book Thief is not your typical war story. It's narrated by Death, who doesn't just watch over humanity, but feels deeply for the lives he takes and the ones he leaves behind. It's a tale of resilience, love, and the power of words, centered around a young girl named Liesel Meminger. Set in Nazi Germany during World War II, the book paints a vivid picture of both human cruelty and compassion, all through Liesel's unforgettable journey. Our story begins in 1939. Liesel Meminger, just 9 years old, is on a train with her mother and brother, heading to her foster family. Tragically, her brother dies on the journey, and at his burial, Liesel finds a book, a gravedigger's manual. She can't even read yet, but this book becomes her first stolen treasure. Soon, Liesel is left with her foster parents, Hans and Rosa Huberman, in the small town of Malching. Hans, a kind and patient man, becomes her safe haven. He teaches her to read during the quiet nights, using the gravedigger's book as her first lesson. Rosa, sharp-tongued but loving, provides the tough love Liesel needs to adapt to her new life. As Liesel adjusts, she befriends Rudy Steiner, the boy next door who becomes her partner in crime, and occasionally asks her for a kiss. Together, they steal apples, bread, and sometimes books, sharing both laughter and hunger in a time of scarcity. Meanwhile, Liesel falls in love with words. She begins borrowing, stealing books from the mayor's wife, Ilse Hermann, who has a private library. For Liesel, books are more than stories. They're an escape, a way to understand the chaos around her. The Hubermans' lives take a dangerous turn when Hans agrees to hide Max Vandenberg, a Jewish man fleeing from the Nazis. Max becomes a brother figure to Liesel. He writes her stories, including one called The Word Shaker, which illustrates the power of words to build or destroy. Through Max, Liesel sees the brutal reality of the Nazi regime. But their friendship also becomes a source of strength, a quiet rebellion against the hatred that surrounds them. The bond between them is one of the most moving parts of the story. As the war escalates, Malching becomes a target for bombings. Fear grips the town, and the Hubermans' basement is used as a shelter. In these moments, Liesel reads aloud to calm her neighbors, proving that words have the power to bring hope even in the darkest times. Hans gets in trouble for a small act of kindness, giving bread to a Jewish prisoner, and is sent to war as punishment. Rosa and Liesel are left to fend for themselves, and the weight of their struggles deepens. Death, who has been following Liesel's life, foreshadows the inevitable heartbreak. One night, a bombing raid destroys Malching, taking the lives of everyone Liesel loves: Hans, Rosa, Rudy, and the rest of the town. Liesel survives because she had fallen asleep in the basement while writing her own story. In her grief, Liesel finds Rudy's body and kisses him, a heartbreaking fulfillment of his long-standing wish. She clings to her words, her stories, and the fragments of love she has left. After the war, Liesel is taken in by Ilse Hermann, the mayor's wife. She eventually reunites with Max, who also survived. But the book doesn't end with a happily ever after. It ends with reflection. Death shares his thoughts on humanity, saying, "I am haunted by humans." He marvels at the contradictions of people, their capacity for both great cruelty and profound kindness. Liesel's story, as told by Death, is one of survival, loss, and the enduring power of words to shape our lives. The book Thief isn't just a story about war. It's a story about the human spirit. It reminds us that even in the face of unimaginable loss, hope and love can endure. It's a book that makes you cry, think, and ultimately cherish the small, meaningful connections in life. If you haven't read it yet, I can't recommend it enough. And if you have, what part of Liesel's story stayed with you the most? Let me know in the comments below.